It's being reported that Warner Brothers is close to a deal to bring Harry Potter on the small screen, by using each book as a season of episodes. J.K. Rowling is planned to be involved to ensure the series stays true to her work, but won't be involved in producing the show since she has lately become a controversial figure. Although we can't be sure when this would be released, we have some expectations on how this show can be made and would provide some of our ideas on how to make this successful. As a fan service, we could always see cameos from the cast of the movies. For the cast of the TV series, the kids will have to be young enough to play 11-year-olds. We expect the show to be more progressive and diverse, but it's doubtful that it'll be too over the top. The showrunners may decide to have more representation and it may be reserved for minor characters. If we were to cast the show today, we could go with Mr. Dursley played by Matt Lucas, Aunt Petunia played by Olivia Colman, Harry Potter played by Archie Yates, Dudley played by Luke Dodge, Ron Weasley played by Jude Hill, Hermione Granger played by Mackenzie Lee Foster, Draco Malfoy played by Julian Edwards, Albus Dumbledore played by Hugh Laurie, Severus Snape played by Dev Patel, Hagrid played by Brian Blessed, Ms. McGonagall played by Ava Green, Professor Quirrell played by Freddie Carter, Voldemort could be played by Joseph Morgan, Mr. Filch could be played by James Faulkner. We expect the show to be of a high production value with a similar soundtrack to the movies. It would be at least a minimum of 8 episodes per season, staying as true to the books as possible, and some extra material to add more flavor since the show would be episodic. For the pilot, they could add a cold open with the first Wizarding War that ends with Voldemort murdering the parents of Harry Potter and his defeat. This leads to Harry at the Dursleys, and we get into the first few chapters of the Philosopher's Stone that deals with the family, Harry's interactions with them and Dudley's friends. The pilot could end with Harry at the zoo or finding out he's a wizard from Hagrid. From the books and new material, we could be exploring more about each house and look at point of views from other characters. They could bring in Peeves the poltergeist into the show, who was for some reason not in movies. There could be scenes with Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel. We could see how Neville's parents are killed and how he was raised. Hermione could be brought in the second episode with her Muggle parents trying to understand Hogwarts to meeting Harry, and later explore her studies in school. Draco Malfoy's point of view can be explored on how he meets Harry for the first time and see more of how he develops a hatred for him. This show has a lot of potential to be very rich in the mythos. We should be able to have scenes that tells us more of the story of the Marauders, and it could be its own episode or told in flashbacks over the course of the series. We could look more into Tom Riddle's life and past from his parents to his first days at Hogwarts. There is always a possibility that filler episodes can exist, especially in the first season. Since the first book was short, we could see a whole episode dedicated to Hagrid, who is dealing with shady individuals and eventually brings in Fluffy to Hogwarts. If the show goes old school with 22 episodes, we wouldn't be surprised to see traditional filler episodes revolving around seasons. For example, the Malfoy Manor being haunted at Halloween, though this may be way too much of a stretch. If the show is very successful in its first season, we won't be surprised if they prolong later seasons depending on the number of episodes to make a whole book equal 2 seasons instead of 1. We could see what was being done during the summers as well. At this time, we aren't sure if J.K. Rowling plans for any major changes. For example, fans are aware that she wanted Harry and Hermione to be a couple. Would we see this happen, or will it enrage fans? What do you all think of the new TV series? Comment below, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching In the Plot.